Okay, this could be a little bit messy, I'll warn you this one. Do have some tissue. You might find that you need a bag as well to put your rubbish in as you go along. The trick is not to push your luck and to take probably about a maximum of 3 prints. The nicer the quality of the paper as well will have an effect on it. At the moment I'm just showing you the techniques of why I'm using standard photocopier paper. I would recommend you have a go with the photocopier paper, get a feel for the technique, and then maybe up to a much nicer cartridge paper. But remember, it is marbling, and a lot of the time marbling's used to cover things such as books and things like that, so you don't want the paper too thick and you don't want it too textured. Go for something smooth. Now what you're going to need with shaving foam marbling obviously is some shaving foam. You can see I've got no expense spared here. Cool shave, so it'll smell good at the same time as looking good. I've got a tray to work on. You can work on a tray. It has to be non-porous, so plastic or metal. It does get a little bit of a hatching job. I wouldn't probably recommend cooking off it after you do this. Do keep that in mind. You could use tin kitchen foil if you wanted to, or even greaseproof paper. Make sure you do stick it down with a bit of tape to your table. Your table will need to be nice and flat because obviously you don't want your shaving foam running all the way down your artwork. The other things you're going to need is a stick to create your pattern, so I'm just using a long handled brush. You're going to need a ruler or a squeegee to get your paint off, and make sure it's nice and clean, okay? If it's dirty, it's going to smear your artwork, so get a piece of tissue and make sure that your ruler is nice and clean, or your squeegee is nice and clean. Then you're going to need some acrylic paints. To be quite honest, the cheaper ones seem to work better than the more expensive, but you know, it's whatever you've got. I've got here some neon colours I thought I'd play around. They're just simple, quick, cheap craft paints out of Hobbycraft. I also have some metallic Peebo that I thought would be fun. And then I've got a piece of paper. Now I do have some coloured paper that I might try as well. We'll see how it goes as the session proceeds. So to start off with, I need to put my paints over here, my brush over there, get my shaving foam and give it a good shake. Now I'm aiming for a rectangle which is roughly the same size as my piece of paper that I'm going to be printing off. Try and keep it nice and even with the height. You can see it's hard at the beginning, but as you get along, you'll get easier. Okay, you can see that fits roughly here. Now, with the shaving foam, it keeps the acrylic wet for quite a long time, so you do not have to rush with this process, which is kind of nice for a change when working with acrylics. Then you're going to need to take some of your paints, and you can work in any way you want to, really. Light to dark, dark to light, neon to metallic, it's up to you. I would recommend not putting huge amounts down. So you're looking at blobbing colours randomly over your shaving foam. Try and think of colours as well that will look nice together. A bit of metallic, and I've got a little bit of gold as well what I'd throw in there for fun. Getting all the sound effects from the paint today. And then I'm going to take my stick and I'm going to generate my patterns. So I can pull in and create spirals and swirls. I can create regular patterns, or I can do something a little bit more random. You can see here, I'm just gradually working. If you feel like you want to, you can take your brush or your stick, just clean it off so that you don't get all the colours meshing into one big patch of colour. Unless that's exactly what you want, you might find that you want to run your blue through your orange, just like that. So that looks pretty good to me. It's quite a nice pattern. So what I'm going to do is take my piece of paper. I'm gently working from one side and rolling it down using my hand to gently apply pressure. I found that if you get a little bit squirting out some sides, that's a good sign. You've got a right amount of pressure. You shouldn't be hitting the bottom of your tin or your tray or baking. You should feel like, it reminds me of a bit of a spring mattress, you know, like they wobble. So that is what you're looking for. I'm going to grab a piece of tissue. I know this is going to be messy once it comes up. And then I'm going to gently pull this up and away. And it's going to look a bit of a mess, as you can see here. Don't worry about that too much at this stage. I'm now going to add in a little bit more colour. Actually, I'm going to just play around with this over here and see if I can get another print out. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So you do have to be prepared to kind of take the good with the bad with this. Neon. I'm going to grab another piece of paper. Swirl this around a little bit more. Looks good. Going to repeat our process. So I'm gradually working my paper down onto my soft, fluffy, very strong smelling shaving foam. I wonder what smell this is. Oh, cool shave apparently. Okay, don't know what that means. It's one of those when, you know, people walk past you in the street, you get this hit. You think, oh my god, what have they been bathing in? So I'm just padding this down onto my bit of paper, like so. Let that sit. And then I'll take off my brush, put that down somewhere safe and out the way. Move my paints over here to give me a bit of space. Like I said, there's no rush with this technique. It's quite nice and easy going because of it. Got my tissue. And I'm going to pull off my second print. Now, I think you'd be really lucky to get a third print from that one. And I'm going to lay it down on my desk. It's a little bit wet, so let's just wipe that over. Like so. Now these will now need to sit for 3 minutes before you do anything. 5 minutes is even better, so patience is a virtue when you're marbling with shaving foam. While you're waiting for that, you can give yourself a bit of a clear up, because you'll find that you usually end up with shaving foam everywhere that's multicoloured and full of neon acrylic paints. Make sure that, like I said, if you're using a ruler, it's nice and clean along the edge, or you will end up with smears and problems once you take off this final layer. I'll see you in a minute. I'm going to give this 5 minutes to dry and we'll be right back. Right, so I've given it 5 minutes to kind of dry off a bit. You can leave it longer. It's up to you. I'm trying to think. That looks like the first one I did. It's very thick paint. That might get a bit of a smear as I go down. We'll see how it goes. This is the second one I did. So let's put that second one to one side. I'm going to take this one. And you see that it's all going that way, so I think I'll probably swipe towards the direction the paint is going. I've got a nice clean ruler. I'm going to hold it in the middle and apply a nice even downward pressure. I also have a piece of tissue here just so I can wipe it off and clean my ruler afterwards. Yeah, you can see I get a little bit of a bleed there, but you know, it's the way it goes with some of these. Let's try the next one. Okay, so I've got a clean ruler, piece of tissue, and I'm swiping, following the direction of the print that I can see. That's cut really well. That looks good. Now it's your turn to have a go, have a play, see what colours you can get to work, even experiment on different papers, different coloured papers. It's up to you, but you can get some beautiful patterns with this. Hope you have loads of fun. See you in a little while. Bye!